Hello everyone, I'm Kiki, and welcome to my Legends Arceus Fanart. Well, it's half Legends Arceus and half general Pokemon. But ever since the Hisuian, I don't know how to say it right, Zoroark was revealed, I was like, I need to draw this. Zoroark and Zora are two of my favorite Pokemon in general, so when I saw they got the new form and the badass typing that they have, I'm just like, ah! And I wanted to draw them together, but I wasn't sure how to do the composition and how to make it work, especially considering time frames and the lore that was read behind it and stuff like that, so I'm like, how do I make this work? Well, once I actually started playing the game, which is freaking amazing, by the way, I do not understand why people are hating on it, or how they can bring themselves to do so. I started to form a better idea in my head of how I'd make it happen, and you know, there's the dimensional rifts in the time and stuffs like that. So I figure, okay, well, what if a rifty thing opened up and, you know, you get the forest Zoras meeting, you know, the glacier Zoras. So it's meeting across time and space. So they're kind of like curious and like hesitant. Well, like the Hisui ones I tried to make them look a little more hesitant about it, whereas the Unova Zoroarks are a little bit more like, yeah, this is cool. You, me, I'm you. This is a thing. Cool. Hey, let's be friends. You know, we can screw with some people, have some fun. And I think I kind of got it. Displaying emotion through body language is not something I do very often. It is definitely one of the things that I need to work on. I mean, there's a lot of things that I need to work on, and it's just trying to work on all of them, and then I end up working on none of them, and I default, and I'm trying not to do that, and it happens anyway. But I'm really happy with how the composition came out. I didn't do as detailed of a background as I initially had thought in my head, but I feel like the little more simple, blurred out background that I ended up doing does fit much better, as it helps keep the focus on them and their meeting. I'm talking too fast, I'm out of breath. From the technical point, I guess, I should probably try to remember to talk more about how I make the pictures, so I'll try to do that here. Generally, I start with the pencil tool to sketch everything out, switching to between the blue and red until I get it to where I want, and then I use the pen tool with a slight stabilizer in order to get the line work down. And depending on what feel I'm going for, I change the thickness of it, of course, and try to remember to add in the line weight and such like that, because it really does make a difference. I mean, there are some pictures that do better without line weight, and there's others that do much better with line weight. Ow. I hit my ring. And then I set about coloring. The way I color is generally one of two ways. I either use the pen tool, as I'm doing here, and then just fill in, or I'll use the crayon tool and fill in. Either way is pretty much the same, it's just whichever tool I happen to click on. The white markings on the Hisuian Zora I didn't actually realize were even there until I zoomed in on the reference picture that I had, which in this recording I actually had up on my laptop screen rather than the tablet display where I'm drawing, just because it was taking up too much room and it was making it feel too cluttered. But once I read the decks for it, I realized that they're actually probably meant to be scars, because from the Bitter Malice move that it has, it actually causes lacerations on their own bodies. I'm like, oh, that's so sad. but they also just kind of look cool as well. So yeah, I fill in, and then once I get all of the color down, I will use the airbrush, typically with the watercolor effect, in order to get the shading, the dark shading, and then either with screen, color dodge, or overlay or soft light in order to get the more highlighted effects. With the darker effects, sometimes I do also use overlay, and sometimes I do also use the multiply. In this one, I didn't really use a lot of highlights. I mostly just did the low lights with the watercolor and the multiply. The biggest spot that I think I used highlights was when I was doing the ice cavern on the Hisuian Zora's side, because I wanted their respective environments to also show behind them in order to help kind of show the difference of who they are and where they're from. For the background, it was just kind of, like I said, a little bit more simple. Just used a grass brush and a foliage brush for the trees and the grass, obviously. And then with the ice, I just sort of went back and forth with the airbrush on the base layer color until I got it to look nice. The trees, I also kind of did the same thing. I laid down some basic browns and then just went in with shadows in order to give them some shape and stuff, such like that. I do cut off the recording at the end, just before I finish the picture, and this is because I'm having to take the image from my tablet to my laptop screen, as I cannot get them to match visually with like the brightness and saturation, because how it looks on my tablet screen does not look the same on literally any other device in my house. Not on my phone, not on my computer, not on my dad's computer, not on my dad's phone. Everything else looks the same except for my tablet, so I sort of flip back and forth by dragging it off of my tablet screen onto the laptop screen, and then I adjust it, and I bring it back, and I adjust it again, and I take it back, until I get it to a place where I feel it looks good on both screens and find a sort of middle ground. So like when I'm working on it on the tablet screen, it looks very rich and highly saturated and very vibrant, and a lot of the times much darker. And then I bring it over to my laptop screen and I'm like, that looks kind of flat. So I have to play around and adjust with it, but I didn't want to record me flipping it off the screen for another, 30 minutes until I got to that point. There are some times in other videos where you'll see me drag it off the screen just because I forget to hit the pause button on the recording, but it happens. As for the ice, I am actually really, really, really happy with my ice cavern, because I think I've done ice and snow maybe 3 or 4 other times between both digital and traditional art, and I think this is some of the best I've done, and it's like, yeah. I was worried about the dimensional portal. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do it, but how I did end up doing it, I think turned out really good. I used both overlay and soft light, sort of moving them about, so I had some above everything and some below everything. And I think it gives this really cool sort of dimensional effect. And yeah, I am completely out of breath. I did not actually mean to talk through this whole video, but I did. I do want to start trying to remember to talk about more of the technical aspects in my videos, just because I feel like that could potentially help others, especially since the program I use, ArtRage, is not all that well known. So yeah. I hope you enjoy my picture, and if you are playing Legends Arceus, let me know what your favorite part is and what your least favorite part is. have you beaten the story? You know, do you think it's the best game ever in Pokemon? Do you think it's the worst game in Pokemon? I mean, I don't see how you could possibly think that, but whatever. So yeah, that's the end of this, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next week then.